We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they're easy, but because they're hard. These were the words of former President, the great John F. Kennedy, during the climax of the space race. Good morning, everyone. My name is Junior Puto.
And my name is Nathan Cadman. Our research question was, since the 20th century, to what extent has space exploration had a positive impact on societal and technological advancements?
Our answer to this question was, throughout history, space exploration has inspired major nations to develop new technology enabling job opportunities. To begin, inarguably, the most crucial event in the history of space exploration was the space race between the USA and the USSR during the 60s. This was kickstarted by the USSR launching Sputnik in 1957. They sent the first man into space, Yuri Gagarin, in 1961, and they also sent various other satellites into space. After a series of failures to match the USSR's dominance in the space race, the USA had finally struck gold with the Apollo 11 mission, making Neil Armstrong the first man to ever step foot on the moon. The US saw the space race as a battle between Western democracy and communism. According to Jack Chauvin from George Washington University, the launch of Sputnik initiated a dualistic space race that ensured that the US would develop new technology to ensure the prosperity of Western democracy. This picture here shows a timeline of events and the important achievements by the two nations at the time, such as Sputnik 1 and of course Apollo 11. Now, the space race of the 60s inspired more nations to indulge in space technology. This kickstarted a new space race, one happening as we speak, between India and China. China launched Chang'e 1 through 5 through the years 2008 and 2020. Chang'e 4 in 2018 made China the first country to achieve soft landing and roving on the far side of the moon. India landed Chandrayaan 3 in 2023, making them the fourth nation in history to achieve a rocket landing on the moon after Russia, US, and China. According to Isabel Brandt from ACE, the space race between the USA and the USSR inspired India and China, and both Asian nations made space development technology a priority. This picture here shows some of the achievements by the two nations at the time, such as Chandrayaan 3 and Chang'e 4, and some of the future missions that they have planned.
Continuing Nash's reference to the US versus USSR space race, the 60s brought a time of inspiration to younger generations. As during this time, NASA implemented a space program to inspire kids to seek jobs and education in STEM fields. As we can see here in this graph, these investments clearly paid off, as during the 1970s, there was a massive spike in the number of people obtaining PhDs in mathematical and scientific fields. This brings us back to today. Today, NASA has provided more than 300,000 jobs to people who obtained their degrees years ago, with an additional $71.2 billion in economic output to people and its employees. NASA has also, as we can see here in this graph, NASA has provided a total of $124,000 average salary to its employees.
Although space explorations had numerous positive advantages for society and technological advancements, there were numerous repercussions shown here in the graph provided by AG Wildlife Library. The U.S. since 2019 has launched 10.7 gigagrams of kerosene into outer space, as well as hydrogen and other numerous solids. These chemicals, such as CO2, chlorine, black carbon, and nitrogen oxides, all contribute to issues such as global warming and other climate issues stated by Dr. Robert G. Graham in his article Space and the Environment. Berta Batchelor, a senior manager for the Ocean Conservatory Group, states that around 11 million pieces of plastic are dumped into the ocean each year. Over a quarter of it comes from space, the equivalent of one piece a day. Zan Indigo, an astrophysicist and chemist for the University of Nottingham, states over 260 pieces of shuttle debris are in the ocean, stated in this image taken by Robert Martin, a photographer and journalist. The equivalent to 35 pieces of plastic coming from space. Oceana, an organization that protects marine life, states that over 100,000 marine life animal species are at risk. shows a graph stating that areas specifically in South America are known to dump numerous microplastics into the ocean, specifically in areas in Brazil and Chile. 8.5 million pieces of plastic are consumed by animals annually, 2.5 of it coming from space, well 2.5 million, sorry. According to the Clean Water Action, an association that's known to protect the ocean, 88% of all sea turtles are at risk, as well as 44% of all seabirds and 43% of all marine mammals such as whales and dolphins.
On the contrary to what Julie said, a positive of space exploration is satellite internet. Jonathan Kwa from the School of Information Technology in Australia observed that low Earth orbit satellites facilitate terrestrial internet, especially in areas lacking infrastructure. This enables faster communication even in remote areas where they may not have traditional internet setups. In addition, Elon Musk, CEO of SpaceX, initiated the Starlink satellite project in the January of 2015. In it, his vision was to rebuild internet in space, and his vision soon expanded to deploying over 12,000 Starlink satellites as of November 17, 2023. As per Musk's plan, this promises reliable internet connectivity globally. This image here shows Falcon 9 ready to launch SpaceX satellites. The limitations of satellite internet are explored by Mohammad Irfan Rashid from the Korea Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, who addresses the need for autonomous small satellite constellations directly contradicting Musk. In it, he explains that it will definitely help in attaining full coverage with minimum satellites and ground stations as shown in this image, with consideration to satellite constraints, such as the need for precise clocking systems explained in regards to GPS, leading to another positive of space exploration, global positioning systems. Sandeep Kumar from the University of St. Thomas notes that the first satellite designed for signal retransmission and detection was a low Earth orbit satellite, as shown in this range, and it laid the foundation for transmission technology which is still in use today. In addition, Catherine J. Manning, a writer from NASA, notes and highlights how GPS, utilizing these radio navigation signals, eases the need on NASA's tracking stations, which can be used to benefit future space explorations with reliable tracking stations. Finally, the limitations of GPS are also explored again by Manning, who mentions that timing capabilities reduce a spacecraft's need for expensive onboard clocks for specifically users in high Earth orbit, as shown here in this range. This contrasts to low Earth orbit satellites. In reference to this, Ken Wang, a PhD scholar from the University of Chinese Academy of Sciences, distinguishes that the benefits of low Earth orbit satellites are not yet thoroughly investigated, showing that GPS technology is still undergoing improvement today.
Our resolution is that space exploration has had an overall positive impact on technological and societal advancements. However, this does come with its limitations. Current GPS technology for satellites may not be precise. Space debris contributes to ocean pollution, and chemicals emitted from space shuttles deteriorates the ozone layer.
Another resolution our group had is space exploration having an overall negative impact on technological and societal advancements. Some limitations to this resolution include GPS technology being useful for everyday travelers, satellite internet being easily accessible worldwide, alternative materials being utilized, and huge increases in the amount of open career opportunities. Now, our group decided to go with the resolution of space exploration having an overall positive impact on technological and societal advancements. This resolution outweighs the negative aspects of our negative resolution, mainly environmental. Other negative points are under improvement and our visions of the future. Is our work cited? Any questions?
All right, I want you to be on camera. All right, we'll start here, work our way across. Reflecting on your colleagues' work, which one had the greatest impact on your overall understanding of the topic that you guys discussed?
Jignesh's work on the space race had the most impact on our question because he laid the foundation and gave us a lot of background knowledge on space exploration. So I believe that it was the greatest impact, especially since the space race was the start of all this new technology and a lot of impacts that we have today. So Jignesh's work is the one that had the greatest impact.
Right. Ricardo, what's an example of an argument from one of your peers' reports that you decided not to use in your presentation, and why?
One of our points was actually mine, since in one of my slides, it included also about commercial space travel, but it didn't really fit with my point of the economy being about careers and education. It didn't really fit with those two topics, so we didn't use that.
All right, thank you. Jagnesh, what's the way in which your team's resolution makes you think different about the research you conducted?
Well, our team's resolution makes me think differently about the research that I conducted because in my research, as you can see on my slides, obviously it shows the sort of historical impact that the space race had. However, with our resolution in general, it makes me understand that it was more than just at that time period. Overall, there was an impact on education and the technology that was created as a result of space exploration.
All right. And Julie, describe an argument from one of your peers' reports that makes you think differently about the solution that you came up with.
I think Janesh's report detailing all the historical aspects of it, because considering the time period, how it was more of a race, it was a race to essentially be the first to get to the moon. They never, as seen, really thought about the aftermath of it when it comes to the negative aspects as shown. So I figured my point of view for it kind of showed what happened afterwards as a result